Hello and welcome. It's Kelly Jane McCann from organizingmaven.com. So I want to share a really quick little story with you. A few weeks ago, I'm sitting around a table with some business folks, and they're sharing their goals for the upcoming year. Now, not surprisingly, many of the goals had to do with being better organized. And people were pretty excited, as you can imagine, to be sharing what they wanted to work on. But there were a few people who allowed that they weren't really sure they were going to be able to reach their goal. And you want to know what? I wasn't too sure they were either. Not because I didn't have faith in their abilities, but because they didn't have an action plan to go along with the goal. I was hearing things like, I really want to get my office organized, or I really want to better manage my time, or I want to reduce my stress. When I was asking, well, how are you going to make that happen? I was met with a bunch of blank stares. So I want to make sure that this doesn't happen. So if your goal is to get better organized, you can use this planning process to make it happen. As a matter of fact, you can use this planning process for any goal you want to reach. So the first step is to create a vision. And what do I mean by creating a vision? Let's say you want to get your home office organized. And so you would sit down, you take 5 or 10 minutes, and you would create this mind picture of what that would look and feel like. How will it be different from the current situation? How will it function? What will it feel like to be in that space? What will it allow you to do that you can't currently do? So once you've got this mind picture in place, and it should really excite you, you should feel genuinely jazzed up by your vision. If you don't, if it's not getting you truly excited, I want you to check out this video I did on goal setting, because I think it will help explain to you what you need to do in order to get jazzed up if there's some kind of change you want to create. So once you've got the vision in place, then you need to get it down on paper. Now, why do you need to get it down on paper? Because as with any goal, there are going to be challenges that come up. You might start to feel overwhelmed. And if you've got your vision on paper, you can take a look at it and you can get re-motivated. So it's really important, it's really powerful to get your vision down on paper and use language so that it feels like it's happening in the present tense. Say, when I walk into my home office, I feel like X. I'm able to do Z with ease. So you really want it to feel like it's happening now. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is you need to break it down. Let's continue using the office as our example. Now, an office is a really complex space. So I want you to think about what are the individual steps that you need to take in order to realize your goal of an organized home office. You're probably going to have to sort and categorize paper. You're going to have to create a filing system. You're going to have to create a functioning desk system, and probably a whole lot of other things. So each of those becomes a sub-goal in and of itself. So then, now that you've broken it down to sub-goals, within each sub-goal, what are the steps you're going to have to take in order to realize each of those little sub-goals? Now, I've said sub-goals a whole lot, and it's starting to sound really funny in my head, but this is important. So let's say with the paper, so gathering the paper might be step 1 of the sorting and categorizing. Step 2 might be setting aside 15 minutes once a week for the next 4 weeks to purge your papers. So do you see how breaking this down makes it much easier? You know exactly what you have to focus on. It's like a recipe. If I said to you, go bake a layer cake, you go, I need some action steps. She needs to give me some direction. So that's what breaking it down does. With a recipe, anybody can make the layer cake. So the same way, when you break down your goals into sub-goals and then into individual steps, you can reach your goal. It might take a while, but you can reach that goal. So that leads us to step 4, and that is to create a timeline. And I want you to create a really realistic timeline. I don't want you to be thinking that you are superhuman and you can get something done in far less time, because that's just going to set you up for disappointment, make you feel like you failed, and it's going to be really frustrating. So be really realistic. Getting organized is a process. It's not something that happens overnight. And once you've got that timeline, I want you to start scheduling your tasks, because unscheduled tasks don't get done. So if you've broken everything down into these little steps and you've done all that work and you've created the timeline, unless you schedule in your task, you're not going to realize your goal. It is that important. It is the reason that doctors and dentists and lawyers and business people, they create appointments, and that they keep a calendar. So do it for yourself. Schedule your tasks. If it's important enough to have it as a goal, it's important enough to put it in your calendar. So I hope these 5 steps really help you. I've put a link up above to my easy peasy goal planning process. So it's just an additional resource. If you want to click on it, you can get it. There's no opt-in required. And of course, as usual, I would love to hear what you think about this process, what you think about these ideas. So please feel free to use the comment section below. Good luck. If you've got questions, feel free to ask away. I'm always happy to help.